There are 4 levels of income to becoming financially successful in life, and today I'm going to break down each one of them, speaking from experience in order to double your income, just like I have. But first I want to get things straight. A lot of personal finance people out there say that in order to have more money, you have to cut back on your expenses. Stop buying that daily coffee at Starbucks and stop buying designer clothes. And whilst this level of financial discipline is key, the major factor to your financial success is your propensity to increase your income, beyond that of just your day job, because as I've found, your ability to do that unlocks all kinds of financial opportunities, some that I didn't even think were realistic for me, but I'll share more about that later on. So let's kick things off by building the financial foundations of this pyramid at level 1. Which is your active income. This means you're exchanging your time, energy, or material participation for money. For the most part, it's your main source of income that you acquire from just working a normal day job, whether that's as a teacher, a builder, a police officer, or an accountant. It's the income that offers you the most stability month to month in order to pay your bills and your mortgage. Now here in the UK, if you were to line up every hardworking individual in a line, the person slap bang in the middle earns about £33,000 per year. That is certainly what's fair to assume as the normal level of income for your average person. Now obviously income differs region to region. Down south, you're likely going to get paid a little bit more compared to somebody that lives up north. And that's largely linked to the cost of living in those specific areas. But regardless of where you live, I would actively encourage you to increase your earned income, or at least to an extent anyway. I have this kind of income versus stress mental model, where the more income that I acquire at work, the more stressful it gets. And naturally in the corporate world, as you progress from an assistant manager to a senior manager and beyond into exec level positions, the more stressful that your life becomes.
Grab a stress ball.
So for me, whilst it's certainly important to increase my earned income, I don't want to do that at the expense of a good night's sleep. But all of that aside, fundamentally it's the foundation of your financial success, and therefore the most important income stream in order to ensure that you have. Doesn't matter whether you work in minimum wage at McDonald's like I was back in the day, or whether you're working in middle or senior management at a FTSE 250. However, as we're seeing now more than ever before, it doesn't matter where you sit on the income spectrum, it's progressively becoming the income type that are leaving people financially uncomfortable, and for the most part simply isn't enough. Which herein lies the problem. With the cost of living crisis, increased food bills, mortgage costs, insurance premiums, and the list goes on, there's been a real squeeze on earned income in recent years. So much so that it's been stated that about 13 million people are actually struggling to pay their bills. So now, perhaps more than ever before, it's imperative to increase your income beyond that of just what you get from your 9 to 5 job. Which leads me on to level 2, which is the first game-changing income stream that you should all be looking to obtain, which is passion income. Also known as the side hustle, it's the mechanism of monetizing your passions, hobbies, or interests. Now, latest figures show that about 20% of people have started a side hustle since 2020, which is obviously good to hear. And research from the Office of National Statistics shows that the average side hustle income is about £495 per month. And from the research, it actually showed about 16% of those people earn over £1,000 a month. Now just imagine what you could do with that extra 500 quid or £1,000.
Show me the money.
For many, that would certainly alleviate some of the financial stresses and pressures in life and would certainly allow you to live a little bit more financially comfortable. It's simply what I've done with this YouTube channel. I've turned an interest of mine into an income stream, and now I simply get paid for making videos like this, with my highest monthly revenue this year being over £10,000, which to be honest is just crazy to even comprehend. A passion project which I started in a spare bedroom about 3 years ago, making no money at all to begin with, turned into something that could generate over 5 figures in a single month. So it certainly shows what's possible, and YouTube certainly isn't the only option in order to monetize your interests. Here are a list of 25 other side hustle ideas that you could look to pursue in your spare time. And if you have a side hustle, be sure to let me know what it is down in the comment section below. Now, one strategic bit of golden nugget advice that I could give you guys based on my own experience when you're starting out a side hustle is to make sure that that side hustle is both lean and evergreen. What I mean by being lean is that the higher the profit margins that your side hustle can generate, the better. Apart from a Photoshop subscription and a couple of other costs that I have for running this YouTube business, it's largely just all profit. And because of that, it means that the business is able to keep most of the money that it makes. And I'll come on to why that's important when you unlock level 3 in just a moment's time. And when I say evergreen, I mean try and package up your work in a way that it can continuously generate you income over time. Like this YouTube video as an example. It was one that I made back in 2020, but it still makes me money every single day. Now, of course, these two characteristics aren't the sole characteristics of a successful side hustle. You can certainly operate with other models that are completely different that are just as successful, if not more successful. But to me, these are the things that certainly make the most sense if you're time poor because you've got a busy day job and a busy family life. So look, when you combine both active income with your passion income, you can quickly accelerate your income, which then allows you to unlock level 3, which is passive income. Now, passive income is money that doesn't require ongoing time, energy, or attention. And one of the ways that I'm able to achieve passive income is through investing into property. It's certainly not everybody's cup of tea, but based on my own personal financial setup, it certainly makes sense as a very good and viable long-term investment option. Because the way I'm set up is that my passion income goes into a business account. And I don't really want to draw down that money as an income because my earned income already gets taxed at 40%. So I don't want to pay that level of tax on my passion income too. So instead I decided to loan the money from my YouTube business to my property business in order to acquire more assets. Essentially, it's a bit of a mechanism of converting your cash into real asset value. It's a personal finance model that I don't think many people talk about, but it's certainly a powerful one for sure. And there's no real quick wins when it comes to investing into property. It's kind of all about just investing for the long term and simply allowing the 5% average property price growth here in the UK to simply do all of the work for you, whilst also obviously having a tenant pay you rent every month to turn a profit. Now, investing into property does have quite a high barrier to entry. So what other options do you have? Well, here are 10 other passive income options you could potentially look to explore. And regardless of which one that you think is best, the mental model to adopt is to always be thinking about how can you turn your money into more money. Because that's the game here, to push yourself up even higher on that income spectrum. Because eventually it will lead you down the path of financial independence, which passive income can certainly provide you with. Now, financial independence is the ability to generate enough passive income to cover all of your bills and expenses. It means you're no longer relying on your active or your passion income in order to make ends meet, which of course is a really powerful financial position to be in. But there is one more level that can take you to a financial scale that very few achieve, and that's level 4, which is portfolio income. Warren Buffett once said, if you don't find a way to make money whilst you sleep, then you'll work for money until you die. And this is how you use the money from your earned and your passion income to reinvest it to make more money. It's a concept that I've shared in a previous video called the wealth machine, which continues to work 24/7, 365, once you've given it the raw materials to do so. As a result, once you've unlocked the ability to earn both passive and portfolio income, it can send not just your income, but your whole net worth to the stratosphere. Well, maybe not that high, but you'll certainly be pretty well off. Now, your portfolio income is your income that's generated from dividends, capital gains, and interest on savings. And interest on savings certainly can't be overlooked with the current rates of interest. It's quite literally the money that's made without you really having to lift a finger, which in itself is the truest source of passive income. The stocks that you invest in generate a profit, and then those profits are paid back to you because you're a shareholder, whilst also allowing you to achieve capital gains too. And the banks obviously hold your money and then use that money to provide you with an interest-bearing return. Now, on the dividends front, you quite literally have hundreds if not thousands of options to choose from. You've got high dividend paying stocks like Altria Group with a 9.37% dividend yield, or you've got high yielding dividend ETFs like the Vanguard FTSE 250 fund, which pays 3.79%, or the Vanguard All World High Dividend Yielding ETF, which pays 3.73%. And when you layer your capital returns on top of the returns that you receive from dividends, you're achieving a rather healthy return on investment. Or you can hold your money in a high interest rate savings account like this one from Nationwide, who are paying up to 8% in interest. For me, I try and invest as much money as I can whilst also holding a sensible sum of cash too, just in case I lose it all tomorrow and I still have to pay my mortgage next month. The impact of all of this has allowed me to double my income, and whilst it perhaps hasn't made a material difference to my life right now because the money's distributed into assets and business accounts, at some point in the future when I go on to liquidate everything and actually realize the gains that I've made, that's when essentially it will make the biggest difference to my life. But it's not just about that delayed gratification, it's also the element of comfort that I get from following this model, that I no longer need to be reliant or stressed about just one single source of income not being enough. They do say the average millionaire has about 7 streams of income, so building up as many as possible should be an absolute priority. Now, if you're interested to know a little bit more about how I model my finances, along with knowing a little bit more about the wealth machine that I've spoken about during this video, then be sure to click on this video next. But before you go, guys, be sure to subscribe to the channel, drop a like on the video as well if you enjoyed it. And with that being said, I'll see you over in the next one.